Mr. Vyas, I am aware that you give a sketch, colored sketch, in your book Tatam Sagar Ke Moti. It explains how embodied entities located in higher two lokas were successively linked spiritually with such devotees or yogis. Would you please explain that concept of spiritual link-ups with the help of that sketch, and also correlate with evolution of mankind located in our world?
Well, let me now explain the sketch. Yes, Mr. Patel, it will be my pleasure. The white paper on which the sketch has been drawn can be compared to Brahma. It is that formless Brahma which is supporting three lokas: the Aksharatita Loka in pink, the Akshara Loka in yellow, and the Kshara Loka in green. I have tried to depict through these circles the embodied entities. The embodied entities in Kshara Loka are called as Jivas. These are the Jivas. The white circle here, here, and here. These white circles are the consciousness that are created by Brahma within the hearts of all the Jivas. These, and these. Likewise, the same Brahma, it is amazing, but it does so. It creates the consciousness within these embodied entities called Atmas. And the white circle in between is representative of the consciousness that is manifested by Brahma within the hearts of these Atmas. Likewise, these are the Paratmas, and the white circles shown are the heightened, most pleasant, most blissful experiences that this Brahma manifests within the Paratmas. They are supposed to live in the highest state of bliss while in Aksharatita Loka. They are aware of that Aksharatita Loka, and the consciousness that is created in them is of such a high order that they remain always in bliss. It is only after the Paratmas got linked with the Brahma Srishtis that they started experiencing themselves as Brahma Srishtis. They are aware of their Kshara Loka while they are not. Now, I contend that the Jivas of our Kshara Loka were successively linked upwards by God. These are innumerable, countless Jivas who exist in our Kshara world. They had either followed the scriptural guidance or not. Depending on that, the God decided to bless those who had followed the scriptural guidance. They evolved themselves spiritually to higher order. It is those people who were one by one connected by God, this Brahma, with Atmas. It happened one by one. I contend that one by one, 36,000 such Jivas of this level, they got separated from there to this level. They got connected with Atmas. And as I explained earlier, whenever a higher level, higher order embodied being gets spiritually linked up with a lower order one, it is said to be in delusion. It cannot experience its own world. It experiences the world as experienced by the spiritually linked lower order entity. So they are in Atma Vibhrama. Our scriptures say they are in Atma Vibhrama. They themselves believe that they are Jivas. They are not. They are really the eternal Atmas, eternal. But these Jivas are subject to life and death, repeated life and death. repeated the annihilations. Well, they are not, but they experience through them as if they are kshara, that is perishable. Now, lots of time must have passed when out of the 36,000, God, the Brahma, would have decided to pick up 12,000 best out of those 36,000 Atmas and connected them with, the God connected them with Paratmas. In other words, they were connected with Atma Yoga, and these Brahma Yoga Yukta Atmas were connected with Paratmas. They are referred to in Gita as Brahma Yoga Yukta Atmas. They are the ones who can, if at all, experience Akshaya Sukha, eternal Sukha, because they are themselves eternal. These people of Brahma Srishtis are not. Now, these 12,000 are the ones which were at one time gopis, as are narrated in Bhagavatam. Thereafter, that life finished, they got reincarnated, and now in our times, in the times of Jagani, they are termed as Brahma Srishtis. In 17th century, Tartam Mani uses the term Brahma Srishti. Perhaps they were the ones who were used earlier, who were earlier mentioned as Brahma Rishis, Brahma Munis, etc. Now, Tartam Mani makes it very clear that the same Brahma, the same power of Brahma which can create all these three lokas, it is present in form of an individual, just like Paratmas are embodied female glorious entities of Aksharatita Loka. Likewise, there is a single male entity that Tartam Mani terms as Shri Rajji. That entity is nothing else but the male entity in which the entire consciousness of Brahma resides. It is beamed in that consciousness. So Paratma is referred to as being Brahma itself. The Shri Raji and Paratma and the Brahma, they are all alike. But within the Paratmas and Purushottam, Purushottam has the highest level of consciousness and power. He exercises power on behalf of Brahma. Anyway, that is the arrangement of Brahma. Now, over here I have depicted how these people of ordinary Jiva Srishti categories, these are innumerable ones, they can experience only the three lower states of consciousness which are mentioned in Yoga Vasishta as waking state, dream state and deep sleep state. These are not, I repeat, not the same states of consciousness that every human being experiences in his day and night cycle. No, these are not. These are the yogic states of consciousness as Yoga Vasishta explains. It will be too lengthy for me to explain that. Anyway, these innumerable Jiva Srishtis shall be able to connect with maximum, the highest level of only Ksharaloka. When they get connected with Atmas, within them, within their hearts is created a potential that they could one time, at some point of time, awaken their Atmas. And when the Atma awakens, it has to leave its fascination with the Kshar world. It has to get, for the time being, as if out of the clutches of Maya. Kala Maya, Tartam Mani terms it as Kala Maya. It leaves its Kshara existence, the awareness of Kshara existence, and experiences itself as Atma. Then 36,000 were created, 12,000 and 24,000 and 12,000, who can experience themselves as Atmas. But only these 12,000 who have been upward linked with Paratmas. They can also, these people can also experience first as Atmas and then with as Paratmas. The Sadguru Devchandraji and Mahamati Prananath could awaken their Paratmas. Sundarbai in case of Sadguru, and Indravati in the case of Mahamati Prananath. They could. Likewise, remaining Paratmas who have yet to be awakened, they will get awakened during the period of Jagni. By this grey colored arrow, I have shown the evolution of these countless Jiva Srishtis from there to here. Jiva Srishti to Ishwar Srishtis, from Ishwar Srishtis to Brahma Srishtis. And after they awaken the 12,000 Paratmas, during the time when they get awakened, such a huge amount of sublime aura, but very highly potent aura, will get generated within the hearts of Brahma Srishtis, as it did in case of Sadguru and Mahamati Prananath. It is mentioned in Tartamani itself. That aura spreads into the whole of the world to cleanse the other Brahma Srishtis of their ignorance. That deposit dark soot of ignorance, it will cleanse it. It will vanish. So at the end of 12,000 awakenings of Paratmas, they will relive their lives in Aksharatit Loka. These will attain a high sub-level of Akshara Loka here, and they will remain forever connected with this. But these people, Brahma Srishtis, being perishable, they will experience the Paratma and Aksharatit Loka till such time as the period of Jagni exists, remains. After that, they will just vanish from our Akshara world. So this is and all the other jivas, they will strike root at Akshara level also. So Tartamani talks of several bhishtas, realms at higher level. They will receive spiritual destinations of higher order, and this will happen with all the countless Jiva Srishtis which were not in past linked with higher levels. And thus, I have explained the concept of spiritual linkages in the context of Hindu scriptures and the phraseology employed in them. But I also found certain parallels with the statements of Bible. I have used for mentioning in the section 1.8.1 of my book 17th Century Revelations, the copy of Bible that is available in India. It is called Good News, New Testament, today's English version of Bible, as is published by the Bible Society of India, Bangalore, India, year 1976. It has been used for in verbatim quoting the certain selected verses. Their efforts of presenting simple English translation of Bible is really laudable. It is quite easily understandable. Following dialogue appearing in the Gospel of John 3:1 to verse 9 seems suggestive of the concept of spiritual link-ups. It seems to suggest that Jesus Christ certainly had a good understanding of three levels of God's reality, akin to what is revealed in Gita and also elaborated by Tartamani. Quote, first verse. There was a Jewish leader named Nicodemus who belonged to a party of Pharisees. One night he went to Jesus and said to him, Rabbi, we know that you are a teacher sent by God. No one could perform the miracles you are doing unless God were within him. Verse 2. Jesus answered, I am telling you the truth. No one can see the kingdom of God unless he is born again. Third verse. How can a grown man be born again? Nicodemus asked. He certainly cannot enter his mother's womb and be born a second time, says the verse 4. The answer of Jesus continues. 5th verse. I am telling you the truth, replied Jesus. No one can enter the kingdom of God unless he is born of water and the Spirit. That is the 5th verse. A person is born physically of human parents, but he is born spiritually of the Spirit. 6th verse. Do not be surprised because I tell you that you must all be born again. 7th verse. The wind blows wherever it wishes. You hear the sound it makes, but you do not know where it comes from or where it is going. It is like that with everyone who is born out of the Spirit. That is the 8th verse. How can this be? Asked Nicodemus. Verse 9. Jesus answered, You are a great teacher in Israel, and you do not know this? 10th verse. I am telling you the truth. We speak of what we know and report what we have seen. Yet none of you is willing to accept our message. 11th verse. You do not believe me when I tell you about the things of this world. How will you ever believe me then when I tell you about the things of heaven? That is the 12th verse. 13th verse now. And no one has ever gone up to the heaven excepting the Son of Man who came down from heaven. That is the 13th verse. It needs to be noted how deftly Jesus shifted the focus of attention of Nicodemus from the miracles he performed and how to that on a higher spiritual truths. Similar instances are often found in Hindu scriptures also, including Gita, when the focus is shifted from earthly truths subtly to those of higher order. It seems Nicodemus neither had any previous knowledge of spiritual truths relating to higher levels of reality, nor had he even sought those answers from Jesus. In all probability, what Jesus revealed might not have been known to most others of those times, perhaps including Jesus Christ's disciples. Such truths were perhaps made available in that land for first time ever. That is why these could have got recorded in Bible. We may now turn the attention to how that ancient dialogue supports the understanding of Tartamani and the concept of interlocutor spiritual linkages that was developed based on it. In the light provided by Tartamani, Jesus seems to be revealing that an aspirant of particularly of Brahma Srishti category has to be first born again to identify itself with its own spiritually linked up eternal Vyashti Atma located in what he called heaven. Only thereafter can the spirit of that Atma gain entry into the Aksharatita Loka that Jesus termed as Kingdom of God in the 5th verse. This is apparent from his clarification in the verse 6 that being born again means being born spiritually of the Spirit. Is it the same as being born in heaven, say the Akshara Loka of Tartam? It surely is not being born physically of human parents, as is well clarified in the 6th verse. That would rule out the possibility of being born yet again, that is reincarnated in some other Kshara body, say in the next reincarnation. By the way, reincarnation is not quite articulated in both the testaments, Old and New. Now, being born spiritually of the Spirit, that is verses 5 and 8, 6 and 8, seem to point at awakening of linked up eternal Atma from its earlier delusion, as could occur only in case of Jiva of Brahma Srishti category, and also of course of Ishvara Srishti. When it happens that Jiva would identify itself with its awakened Atma, the verses John 3:11 to 13 seem to imply it had already happened in case of Jesus. His words were based on his direct experience This assertion is made in verse 13 by saying that he had earlier gone to heaven and had returned therefrom, either in that very life or perhaps in earlier times. You can't say that. And he also said he would return again in future times after his crucifixion, when several horrors would have been unleashed in the world. We may also briefly review what Jesus said in John 14 in respect of the two terms he often employed, Father and the Spirit. In the verse 14:8, his disciple Philip said to him, Lord, show us the Father. That is all we need. Jesus obviously could not have met with that request. So, he can be seen admonishing Philip as follows. Refer to John 14 verses 10 to 17. Jesus said, Do not believe, Philip, that I am in the Father and the Father is in me. The words that I have spoken to you, Jesus said to his disciples, do not come from me. The Father who remains in me does his own work. Believe me when I say that I am in the Father and the Father is in me. If not, believe because of the things I do, that is the miracles. I am telling you the truth. Whoever believes in me will do what I do. Yes, he will do even greater things because I am going to the Father. That is the 12th verse. And I will do whatever you ask for in my name, so that the Father's glory will be shown through the Son. That is the 13th verse. If you ask me for anything in my name, I will do it. 14th verse. If you love me, you will obey my commandment. 15th verse. I will ask the Father, and he will give you another helper who will stay with you forever. 16th verse. He is the Spirit who reveals the truth about God. The world cannot receive him because it cannot see him or know him. I think he talks of Spirit. But you know him because he remains with you and is in you. That is the 17th verse. The work of 10th verse that Jesus alludes to is not only in respect of miracles that he used to perform. That was the focus of the curiosity of Nicodemus in John /3, 2nd verse, discussed earlier. But also of hitherto undisclosed spiritual truths that he was revealing. Throughout the verses 10 to 17 cited above and 18 to 26, he declared unequivocally that it is the Father who really performs those works, as the Father in him and he in the Father. He is also seen announcing in verses 12 to 15 that he will be shortly going